Hi, this is Ginger Cook, and Liquitex has sponsored a video featuring a brand new line of paints. And in this video, we're going to be comparing 4 different tubes of paint. One of them is going to be cadmium red medium, and the other cadmium yellow medium. And then we also are going to have cadmium free yellow and cadmium free red. Now these are colors that are probably in 99% of all the paintings that I do. I use these reds and yellows, and so in this video the tubes are marked A and B. We don't know which one it is, and I'd like to invite you to follow along as we do 2 different paintings, and at the end we'll have our big reveal.
Hi, my name's Ginger Cook, and you guys probably know that if you've been watching me on YouTube for a while, and I'm really excited today to introduce a new product from Liquitex, and it's they're cadmium-free yellows and reds. And what we're going to be doing today is a test. They asked me to do a test to if I could tell the difference between the synthetically made paint and the cadmium that's reds and yellows that have been used since acrylics were invented back in the 50s, and before that in oil paint. And we're going to talk a little bit about why we want to do that, why do we care, and what it would mean to you as a artist, why you might want to switch. If we find there's no difference, what would be the benefit of switching? We're going to talk about those things. And I thought I would show you, this is a painting that we've done. I thought was a good example of reds and yellows. We got a lot of cadmium in here, and the reds and yellows. And we're going to do 2 different paintings. I'm going to do one painting featuring all the tubes are A. I don't know what A's are. The A, red and yellow. I have no idea which either tube is. And we're going to do B. I'm going to do 2 different paintings so that we can be really fair, make a fair test, and which I think is kind of cool. We got some other colors, so you can see this is our painting. I've already just done a background on this one. Okay, so here's what we've got so far. This is A, and here's B, and I'd say we were right on. I mean, I made this a little brighter. Probably could have done that too. So, all right, so we're going to start painting now. If you're just joining us, if you're just doing this, because we tried to keep this video down to about 20 minutes, I'm going to just say again that this is Ginger Cook, and what we're painting today is these watermelon and these bananas, and we're going to be comparing the new paints from Liquitex, and this is a blind test. We have an A and a B in yellow and in red. Okay, cad red medium and cad yellow medium. Okay, we have an A and a B. This was painting I just did with the paints in my studio, my regular red cad reds and yellows. Okay, that's the original. Now what I've done is we've got 2 different canvases here, 8 by 10. And we've traced on the image, and so far we've done everything on this one in A. That's and again, blind test, and then this bottom one is B. So now what I'm going to show you how to do, we're going to paint on we'll just start with, let's see, I'm starting with A. We're going to paint the watermelon and the bananas, okay? Now, it's a little trick, and it's all fairness. We've got to put out some titanium white. I haven't put that out yet. Here's the thing. Let me tell you a secret about all acrylic yellows, okay? They are the happiest when you paint them over white. So if you've got a dark background, what you need to do is you need to paint it white wherever you think there's going to be a bright yellow. So you can't compare apples to oranges kind of thing if you're starting with a dark background. A lot of people don't know that, and they get very frustrated with yellow. And you want your background to be over. If you've got a dark background, you want your yellow to be over dried white paint. Now, for instance, if you were doing a field of flowers and you wanted some flowers to be more prominent than others, you would then just paint maybe a yellow flower over, say, a green background, but then you would paint a couple of the front ones over white, and those would look brighter. By anything you paint over white is going to look slightly brighter, okay? So to keep this fair, we're going to be going ahead and painting the bananas white first on both of them, so they can be drying, and that's real important. It just we want to be able to do that. Let's see, this comes up like that. Kind of goes to the tip like that. All right, so those are these white bananas, and I will go ahead and paint these other ones white too. And that's just a little secret when you're painting yellow. It's just one of those little things that makes it happier. Surprisingly, I don't find that true with a lot of other colors, but for red, for instance, too. For instance, if you're painting red over green, and a lot of people paint red over green because it's usually there's green leaves or something, and perhaps they'll paint the green leaves first. Because green is the complement of red, your eyes were going to, and besides the fact that you're painting over darker value, your eyes will have a tendency to make the green seem a little bit, maybe the red not be so bright. So if you needed a really bright red in a flower, you might want to paint the flower white first and then paint the red. Okay, but colors look different depending on what you put them next to. This is why we're doing a blind test with both these paints. Doing a blind test because in order to be really fair, we want to paint one painting with the cadmium A and one paint with the cadmium Bs, so we can really see if there's a difference. Because there's Liquitex spent 3 years developing this paint and trying to find a non-toxic version of cadmium. And we said before earlier, and I'll say it again, it's just not, when I was a kid, everybody ate peanuts. Nowadays, they can't even serve peanut butter in school because some people are very allergic. And some people are, actually have a reaction to cadmiums, paint. Now, most people don't, but a few do. And so to be really healthy, it's on the healthiest side of it, the hues came out. They would make they would talk about a cadmium red and a cadmium yellow, and they wouldn't say which is which, but they would talk about these different non-toxic cadmiums that would come out. But the downside of it is that the colors weren't as bright. So artists would say, yeah, that's okay, but the colors aren't bright, or they don't blend well, or the opacity is wrong. So what we're looking for, what Liquitex was trying to do, is look for and this is B now, was look for a paint that would, function as effectively as their other cadmium yellows, reds, and cadmium red medium, and cadmium yellow medium. They're effective, but be non-toxic for people. So they'd have a non-toxic quality, and I think that's what we're looking to see if they've managed to pull that off. Now, I've got to write where everything is, or I'm going to be so confused. This is A, all right? Everybody's with me? All right, so this is A, so we need to use A yellows. And here we go. Let's come over here with the phthalo blue and well, they do look like the same, so it doesn't really matter, but we're trying to be fair here, right? So, all right, so I'm putting this back. Sorry. All right, so this is our yellow mixed with green. I just didn't want to be unfair about this. Okay, I'm just going to put this in here like that. So again, what we're looking for is opacity. So far, whatever this one is, actually both seem to be working pretty well. I guess I'm being a little silly, but I wanted to be totally fair. So let's just put our green here and just get our colors in. If we can do that, that'd be good. So I'm going to just show you how we're painting this, like that, and add a little white here, a little more yellow, and a little more white. So here's my inside of my watermelon, like that. There we go. Now, I'd do a little bit more up in here too, but just adding a little bit of white, but we're going to have to change a little bit of colors here. A little bit of white right here like that, A little bit of white. This is the A, so we're still working on A here, so that's good. There we go, just a little bit of white and yellow. Make that a little bit lighter. Okay, so alright, so this is what we got so far. That makes for a very nice bright color. Here's a little yellow oxide with that. Let's just tone this side down just a hair. It's bright. Sometimes bright's good, but not. You may not always want bright, but let's see how it mixes. The colors are mixing very well so far. So I don't know which is which, but it all seems to be mixing fine. All right, so there's my. My bananas are dry. Okay, so now we're going to go into. Everybody's with me on the same page. We're A's. We're using A yellow. So let's see how that covers. Well, we're getting certainly a beautiful yellow here, aren't we? Okay, so here's our A yellow. Just doing pure yellow for the moment. Okay, then we're going to tone it down and add some different colors, but this is what we got so far. You want to see what this looks like over white. And of course, we've got a brilliant yellow. Great, this is lovely. So here we go. There's our yellow. Now, I'm going to let that dry. And let's work on a little bit of the reds. So here's A red. Here's cadmium medium, so let's put that in here. Again, we're going right over the dark brown. Now look at this. Whatever it's in A, look at the beautiful coverage I'm getting right over the dark background, and that in itself is impressive. Professional acrylics. I'm going to say that again. If you buy a crush, if you can. I mean, if you can, and if you can, the pigments in professional acrylics, like a Liquitex heavy body acrylic, they're just awesome. You just really. People think sometimes they save money, not using them, but you do fewer coats, less time, all that stuff, and you get a brighter color. Now that's a beautiful red, isn't it? Whatever that is, that's a beautiful red. So let's come down here like this and put this red on the inside of this, and then the same thing over here. I'm going to come around here and put this red in. I'm leaving a little bit of the dark space. Do you see that? Okay. So now this is where okay, and now we're going to come back a little bit of brown, and let's just play with our top of our bananas here, and take a little white, yellow. This is all about mixing colors here. There we go. A little yellow oxide here on the top. Here's the top of our banana stem for now. Okay. So now, so this is what we've got so far. Now this is probably dried enough where we're going to take a little yellow oxide and start blending here like that. And come up on the inside because there's a shadow here. And we're going to do the same thing here. Blend a little of this up into here, and the same thing on this banana. And one of the things you want to be able to do when you're painting is to be able to layer and blend. Okay, so let's put a little bit of that color up here too. A little bit lighter right here when I'm thinking about it. Okay, now I want to go back into the greens and put a little bit of this green color and then wipe it off and take a little tiny bit of cad red into that green to tone it down. Red is opposite green on the color wheel, and it's what we call a complement. And when you add a little bit of red to green, it will tone it down. So we want more yellow. We're going to tone this green down and just give this banana just the slightest hint of just a little bit of white. Slightest hint of not quite ripe. I'm going to bring that down like this into our picture. Now a little bit of cadmium medium and yellow oxide. Let's darken this a little bit. I probably use cad red medium more than any color. if you're talking about besides white, that's in so many of my paintings. You can use your regular primary red, which I have put some out, and occasionally I might use that. But Cad Red, I go through more Cad Red medium than anything because it's such a versatile color. I can mix it with anything. So the idea that we could end up with a color that is non-toxic. Again, like I say, I've been painting since 1965 with acrylics. I started out using Liquitex acrylics, and acrylic paints have really evolved over the years. Now look at the beautiful colors in it. I mean, look how bright that yellow is. Isn't that beautiful? That's a beautiful color here, and that's a little bit more green back here. Notice that all the bananas are not green. We're just suggesting some green here. Just want to throw that in here, even a little bit up on the stem where they took them off. Okay, so now, so that's doing pretty good. Now we're back into the greens here. This has had a chance to dry. Let's take a little bit of yellow oxide and a little bit of yellow medium. We're still in the A's. A little bit of white. Want a little bit of a lighter color here. Put that over here like that. And for sure along here too. Technically watermelons are, this little band here is probably white, but we're taking some artistic license with it. A little bit lighter here. I want it a little bit lighter up here where the light might be hitting the watermelon. Now I want a kind of a fun little green color here like that. So some sort of little green color, the stridation on our watermelon. See what kind of greens we're getting. We're all in A. Okay. So you can see how we're painting this in. Whether you use that, this is how we're doing this is how we're painting this in. And we kind of overlap this a little bit like that. It's coming along. I mean, that's very pretty and bright. Don't you guys think so? I mean, I think so. Here's a little bit of brown with this. Get this dark color. You want to darken the green a little bit, put more blue in it. I need some kind of this is that phthalo blue-green color. Liquitex is one of the ones that differentiates between the phthalo blues. This is phthalo blue-green shade. Because there is a difference. That's probably the one I use most of all. I'm going to darken this right here. Maybe darken this right there. Okay, so you guys, that's pretty impressive, isn't it? I mean, that's pretty bright. Now, let's take, alright, so as long as we're still in here like that, and we're in this, now let's put a little bit of a color, a little bit of an orange right along here on our table. And maybe even just a little bit next to this, right in here like that. Okay. And a little bit, let's see, let's keep it into A here. Here we go, under here like this. Bottom of our table. A little yellow oxide here. Okay. And just a touch of that right up in here like this. Sometimes that can be nice, just a touch of color up here. Alright, like that. Just kind of tone down on that watermelon. Now what? Okay, so let's change brushes. I want to just, again, take the Cad Red and a little bit of, let's take some ultramarine blue now and test that. That's an interesting combination, Cad Red and ultramarine blue. You get another really pretty kind of burnt umber shade of brown doing that. Did you guys know that? Okay, so here's that, and let's just put that on our table here to kind of differentiate it from the rest of the canvas. Okay, maybe put a little bit up in here like this. Now, okay, so you can see where we're going with this, and I want to do something very bright here. Ooh. There, like a little bit of a, doesn't hurt every once in a while to have a little bit of a highlight, okay? So you can kind of see now, for instance, in the picture that I'm doing, right, I've got this nice orange highlight up in here, so now I'm going to just do that too. I'm going to show you how we do that. A little bit of Cad Red Medium, a little bit of yellow. This is, we're still in the A's, okay? Now, just sort of, we're going to just suggest a little bit redder, I think. Yeah, there we go. I want it a little bit redder. Always work your wet edges. I want a little bit brighter here and a little bit more kind of a gold color around the watermelon like this. Again, this is where, you know, you get your background so far and then you use your colors to sort of, you know, you want something to show up. And that's the, wherever there's a light, there's a dark. That's one of the rules. And so, you know, take a black and white picture of your painting every once in a while and just see where you're at. Okay, so now we got that splash of color. Isn't that pretty? Don't you love that? So it's got the splash of color. Now we're going to take some pure Cad Red Medium and just do a second coat right here. Well, red's one of those colors where if you want it to be brighter, do 2 coats. Did you guys know that? If you were painting a door in your house, you'd probably need to do 3. But, you know, acrylic paint's a little more pigment than what you get in house paint. So now let's do the same thing here. Let's make this a little brighter just on the top part here. Just pure red. Okay. Like that. There you go. So, all right, it's a little bit brighter. So we've got this. Then I'll take a little bit of this orange color like this and maybe, you know, make this not so bright right here. Okay. So that it's just sort of more realistic watermelon, like that. Okay, and then on this one, we're going to take a little bit of brown and purple and just say that there's a little bit of a shadow going on here like this, and here like this, come down here like that, a little bit of a shadow. And I want some shadow, I want a dark shadow here underneath my watermelon, like that, and underneath my bananas. Kind of reshape those up too, like that. Kind of reshape the carving of them. Okay, so now your eye will go to the lightest light and the darkest dark, so you got to kind of watch where you want that. But that's what we've got going there. Oh, this is fun, isn't it? I think this is great. Now taking a little bit of purple and brown, and we're gonna put in our watermelon seeds, just using an angled brush like that. Just kind of tap it down, and don't, you know, kind of change the direction. Don't get too carried away. Just imply a few seeds, maybe just even some purple. Okay, get this a little darker right up here. Okay, a little, just a few. Don't get nuts on me. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of this dark purple and just suggest a bit of a shadow right here between the bananas. There's a little brown. Let's do our little brown diamond shaped on the tips. It's like a little diamond shape with some surrounded by yellow, like that. There you go. Okay, down diamond shape. But I would say that we're pretty. I think we could call that one done. Again, a little bit of red under here, like that. Just maybe that's too much. Put a little brown back. You can. This is very strong stuff here, whatever this paint is. So now a little bit of red under here. Maybe some highlights up here on top of our table. Like that. It's a little bit of yellow oxide, maybe a little bit of yellow. Like that. And let's take a little bit of white, come around here like that on the inside of our watermelon. Oh yeah, we have to do these, just little bits of, take some white and a tiny bit of yellow, and white, mostly white, tiny bit of yellow, and we want to make these little funny little seeds. And we've got a couple more details to do on this, but that's these little funny seeds, and then you want to give a little light highlight around these ones, like that. Okay, and then maybe just across the top, do something like that. So that's here we go, nice light. And I want a long green, gonna watch that. I want to lighten this up here too a little bit. It dried a little darker on me than I want, but that's what acrylics do, so don't be upset about that, just know it. Okay? Alright, so then we've got this nice deep dark tone this down here, just gonna shave this off. I got that a little wide. Okay, so there you go, there's our painting with our watermelon. Now I'm going to do the other one. This is A, okay? I'm going to do the other one. And put a little bit of yellow oxide on these. Okay. There we go. I'm going to do the other one now using B, alright? So let's look at that. Now this is what we got so far. Here's the original. Alright, so here's the original. Oh, you know what we didn't do? We got to do that. We got to, sorry. I see the original now. I see what I got to do. A little bit of white, a little bit of yellow. As long as we're doing it, now we need a few little light highlights right here. A little bit of little tiny bit of white. There's really a white, light yellow highlight, like doing that when you add a little white to the yellow. Okay, there we go. So there's there's A. Now let's work on B. Okay, so we've gotten all that done. I think that's kind of cool, and then we're going to compare. So again, we're probably going to fast forward on this. Let's start again. We've got yellow and blue, and this is the B, all the B colors. We're going to paint all this green. So far, I'm not seeing any difference. Put out some new yellow and paint our bananas yellow and see how we're doing with this. Color this, it's painted just as smoothly as the other one did. It's not sticking or doing any of that. Yellow oxide now, well this is still wet. Let's see how that's blending in. Nice. A little bit of white here. Get the inside of our watermelon. Okay. Rinse the brush. Do that again. I'm using an angle brush. Now let's come back up here with a little green. A little bit more brown on this side. I think we decided we were going to do a little bit of ultramarine blue and cad red medium. Make some sort of a table color in here like that. Let's take pure, now we did it with the other one, let's take the pure cad red medium and paint over our red watermelon. Alright, so I mean that's pretty bright. Okay, here's my original, and that's pretty bright, don't you guys think so? Now it's not, again, acrylics have a tendency, all acrylics have a tendency to dry a little darker, so let's just, we'll see what this looks like when it's dry and we can give it a second coat. Okay, so now we're going to just work on getting some yellows here. It's a bit of a white and yellow, tiny bit of phthalo blue, green shade. Okay, and then put a little bit of maybe some yellow oxide in it, tone that green down. Come up here like this. Let's get a little more white here. We'll need this very light up here like that. Alright, so we're going to come straight down from the center of here like this. Let's say that this is just purple and brown. Here I want to do a little bit of yellow oxide with that. I want a little bit more of a shadow color right here. You can take a tiny bit of cad red medium and warm that up. You don't need much, and it just kind of. And we'll take a little bit of the brown and the purple and make our little diamond shape tips to the banana. A little bit of brown spots on the banana like that. when you do a second coat of red. Okay, now look here. Acrylics do dry darker, but here's your second coat, and we're going to do it. That's pure color here. And we want a white band. And the same thing here. We're going to take a little bit of white and Cad Red Medium and add a few little seeds. Vary the direction, kind of having them go up like that. There we go. And let's see, how about some brown and Cad Red Medium. Makes a nice brown color. Just shave off a little bit of this watermelon. Got a little wide there. Okay. And remember, up here we wanted to do that too. We want to put some of this brighter red color up here in our picture. And a little bit of yellow. Let's maybe a little bit more orange. Now look, you put it on, then take it off, and then just flatten your brush and just barely touch it now. You're just kind of adding a little bit of smoke and mirrors here, just something to, just want some of this stuff to show up a little bit more than it does. Okay, wherever there's a light, there's a dark, so if you can remember that. Let's see, a little bit of yellow. Let's see what we got here. Okay, there we go. I mean, there's a ratio, and you can test it so much. There's going to be a ratio. Maybe I used more color in one painting and not in another, but I have to tell you, at this point, if you handed me the tubes like what you've done and asked me to tell you which was the Cad Red Medium and which wasn't, I have a guess, but it's so close, I'm not sure, and I don't know. I mean, I have a guess. I have a guess about which is which, but it wouldn't be. But would I actually own the red that was done without the cadmium? Would I own the red? And I would, because I mean I do like it. I like that. I think both. You know, you're talking about viscosity. That's how thick something is. You're talking about ease of paint, and this certainly does that, like that. I mean, just saying that, like that. And I don't know which paint I'm using now, but I would say that that's really true. You're seeing how we did, you know, a painting like this. Put a little bit of that. I mean, again, I don't know. We're going to do the big reveal here, and I'll let you see, you know, which one is which. Okay? But I think this was, you know, if you were just talking about what's, you know, you want to compare a yellow, then paint something that's yellow. You know, that's my feeling. It's just you want to paint, you know, paint something that's yellow, so you can get a good comparison. Absolutely. That to me does that make the most sense to you? Make that really dark right there. Yeah, paint something that's yellow and see how bright the yellow is. You know, that's here's some pure paint here. Let's just, you know, just do a little touch up right here on our, kind of go around our little nose here on the banana. There you go. Okay, so we've got some pure color now, you guys. And how did it work? And I think it worked really well. I would say this worked really, really well, and that we've got some really nice bananas, and really you can feel very good about buying this paint. I mean, even though this was sponsored by them and they asked me to try it, I would tell you if I didn't like it. You know me, I'm ruthless like that. But again, I've been using this brand of paint, Liquitex, you know, since 1965. I've been 64, 65, when nobody ever, you know, it was just, you try to get into an art gallery back then with acrylics, and good luck, because they just, if it wasn't an oil, they didn't want it. Now they, you know, paints have come so far, and the public mind has understood it so well, that there's an absolute, you know, people understand that acrylics are this generation's paint. You know, they're fabulous, and I think we can be very happy with this. All right, so now here's A, and here's B. What do you guys think? Now, there's our, first off, I would say when I'm looking at this, do you see any difference between this yellow and this yellow? I don't. Do you see any difference between this red and this red? This is still wet. Let me dry this one real quick because again, wet paint isn't the same. Let's just dry this. Okay, here you go. Here's our wet paint. Now again, I'm looking. I don't see any difference between these colors. I don't see any difference in the yellows. I don't see any difference in the greens or the reds. I think that is really impressive. And as you can see, I don't know which is which, and I want you to see my original. And again, look, do you see any difference between either one? I don't. Wow, huh? So that being said, John, what is the difference? There's B, and this is A, okay?
Come over.
And we're going to flip them over. You guys ready to see? Now, we should just, this is a big reveal, and you may want to, just guess yourself before we start. We'll put a poll up on our video. You can do that you can guess first, and before we tell you, go guess now on our poll before and see if you were right, okay? We'll do that little poll thing. Go guess, and put it in the comments too. All right, so we're going to flip it over. You're right. Well done. Our cadmium-free paints have been designed to deliver exactly the same vibrancy and level of opacity as the cadmium paints. Okay, so...
Read the cadmium paint.
And the cadmium says, don't worry, though our cadmium-free paints deliver the same viscosity and level of opacity as our cadmium paints, which means they're practically impossible to tell the difference. Well, you can't really tell the difference. Practically impossible to tell the difference. I'm so impressed, you guys, aren't you? I mean, really, aren't you impressed? And just, that's amazing to me. They didn't paint any difference. The opacity was the same. Look at these yellows. So if you're the slightest bit concerned that you may have an allergic reaction, you want a safer paint, that you may not be able to person one of these people, and maybe just like some people don't eat peanuts, this would feel really good about buying these. I'm telling you what, Liquitex, you did it. That's really impressive. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial on how to paint these pictures, and I think this was a lot of fun. I hope thanks for playing, you guys. All right. Now, if you like more of these kind of paintings, be sure to visit our website, gingercooklive.gallery, where we have a wonderful array of painting still lifes with fruit and vegetables, and I think this is a great one to add to our series. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. And be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'd love to hear your comments. Tell us which one you guessed was which when you saw me painting it. Tell me which one you thought it was. I mean, I had a guess, but I didn't want to tell you my guess because I wasn't sure. I really wasn't sure. They were so close it could have been either one. So this was fun. And again, our traceable can be found on our website, gingercooklive.gallery, if you want to, try this painting. Thanks very much, and thanks to Liquitex for, letting me play.